Look at you, Drake. Dug in a hole like a frightened rabbit. For 7 years now, I've been wanting to kick you in the face for making a fool out of me in front of the prisoners.
Why don't you do it now? Who'd see you?
I would. And the good Lord would know that I was kicking you because you were a smarter man than me.
Yeah. That's been a good enough reason since Cain and Abel.
Don't start giving me any of your educated talk because I'll start beating you up. Come on now, get up!
Now, what's the matter with you? Why don't you grab the rifle?
Because you've got a pistol? Makes us even? You know what's eating you, Kester. I'm everything you say I am. I'm filthy, I'm a coward, I'm your prisoner. But I'm still a better man than you are.
Catch you later. Burley and Jackson. Mr. and Mrs. Abner Crane.
Oh, yeah, it's cabin 6 and 7.
Is my name on the list, too?
Lucy, mind your manners.
Yes, ma'am. Right here, Lucy Crane.
What's your name?
Lucy is busy now.
Ben Fraser, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you on board.
Bye, Ben.
Bye.
Yeah, that sure is a pretty little girl.
Catherine Norris of the Indian Missionary Society.
Yes, ma'am, you're in cabin number 9.
I had a large box of books.
You're already in your cabin, ma'am.
Oh, thank you.
Kester and Drake.
Hey! Look what they're bringing aboard.
All right, if I chain him to that flagpole, it's as good a place as any.
Sit down.
May I have your mark and chalk? Thank you, Captain. Wouldn't want anybody to be getting too near him. What about feeding him? Oh, you can give him anything that's left over. Some grits, bacon rinds, some black eyes, no matter what. He's going to be eating better here than he will when he gets back. I hope he doesn't give us any trouble.
Don't worry yourself none. I ain't had an accident in 10 years.
This is for you. I bought it with my own money.
Lucy! Lucy! Come here. You stay away from him, you hear? Come on.
I'll show you. There's any whipping to be done around here, Mr. Burley. You won't be the one that does it.
He took that apple right out of that little child's hand.
You get out of here. Mind your own business. All right, it's all over, folks. Move along. Now, why'd you have to do that? You know you're going to be eating in 3-4 hours? There's no harm done. He didn't hurt the little girl. You can't let them get away with a single finger. You're in trouble, Captain. That's a fact. Well, I guess you know how to handle him better than I do. You're right. I do. Hey, this is so you and me
That
understand. Ma'am?
He didn't take that apple. The little girl gave it to him. I saw it with my own eyes.
No, everybody else said he took it.
That man. I know he didn't see it.
Well, now, I'm not going to be calling a lady a liar, but sometimes nice folk like yourself let their good feelings get all mixed up with their good sense. This man's an escaped criminal. Neither of us saw what really happened. Maybe the young lady is right. Captain, your passengers in your boat. Thank you, Mr. Kester. I'll show you your cabin.
Aren't you going to eat your dinner?
I'm not hungry, Mommy.
She'll be all right, Sarah. She's excited. Are you going to sing us your little song?
Mm-hmm. Faith of our fathers living still in spite of dungeon, fire, and sword. Oh, how our hearts beat high with joy whene'er we hear that glorious word. Faith of our fathers, holy faith, we will be true to thee, all down.
I brought you something to eat. You can talk, can't you?
Sure, I can talk. What do you want?
Why didn't you tell them the little girl gave you that apple?
Thank you very much for the food. Now, please get out of here.
I would like to talk to you.
What could you and I possibly have to talk about?
You?
Curiosity?
No. Concern.
Well, perhaps I should start by telling you about the family of six-legged creatures that share these clothes with me. Or maybe you'd like me to tell you about my 7 years in Meckenridge prison.
I didn't mean that.
Or perhaps I should start by telling you how I got this way in the beginning.
I was just trying to be nice.
People are only nice because that way it's easier to get what they want.
And what do you think I want from you?
The thrill of feeding the wild animal.
I want to be your friend.
Why?
I think people should help others less fortunate. Give and ye shall receive.
Oh. A do-gooder.
My life is helping others, if that's what you mean.
Well, I don't believe, so stop wasting your time.
A man must have faith in something.
Faith? Sure, I've got faith. I've got faith that in the morning these will still be here. I've got faith that I'm going back to Meckenridge. I've got faith that I'll die there.
And that's not the kind I meant.
You said you like to help people. How?
I'm an Indian missionary. I'm going into the Sioux country.
You speak their language?
No.
Then how do you expect to help them?
I'll find a way.
Faith?
Yes.
That gives me a lot more faith. Faith that you'll make some Indian a pretty good squaw.
You sound like an educated man. Now, you're not a common criminal, and you're not in prison for some petty crime.
No, of course not. My sins are of the more mortal variety. Intent to do wrong. Purposeful violence. Rape of the soul. Murder of a man. Do I frighten you?
No.
No? I would if I didn't have these. This is the closest I've been to a woman in 7 years. All right, now get out of here. Go figure out what you're going to do to the next poor beggar you catch in chains.
Prove not a scorner lest he hate thee. Reprove a wise man and he will love thee. Oh, how your throat must burn with the taste of your own brilliance. I pity you.
Looks like we're going to have a little storm.
Yeah, well, I know that. My bad knee's been telling.
Of course, you can't see it in the air, I suppose. You want anything before I pack in?
Oh, well, you might tell Silas to bring me some hot coffee for a change.
Right. I'll see you in the morning.
That's it.
You always walk into your passengers' quarters without knocking?
What? Beg your pardon. You want anything?
Why?
Well, you're a paying passenger, too, you know.
In that case, you might check on room service. My bunk wasn't made up this morning.
Maybe I can get Kester to move you down the hole. Looks like it's going to rain tonight.
Seems like somebody's always trying to coop me up in four walls. Don't bother. Oh, you might see what you can do about that fella snoring, though. Disturbs my thoughts.
So your light on. What are you doing up so late?
Lucy awakened. Poor little thing was frightened. A rag doll fell over her face and she couldn't breathe, I guess.
Well, here she comes. That was wrong about Travis's knee. What? Oh, nothing. Good night.
Good evening, Mr. Fraser.
Like everybody likes to stay up late tonight.
Well, maybe it's the rain. I love it, don't you?
I don't like any kind of bad weather on the river.
I like to walk in the rain and marvel at God's way of cleaning the earth. After the rain, everything's so quiet and fresh and new.
Now people start walking around dirtying it up again.
What a pity the rain can clean only the outside of a man.
Yeah. Better get inside. You're hardly wearing enough. You'll catch a death of cold. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for the shelter, but it wasn't really necessary. You are a do-gooder, aren't you?
Do you have to reduce every action to a base motive?
Is there any other kind?
Believe it or not, everyone does not do things for personal gain. Some people like to help because they have compassion or just plain love for their fellow human beings.
Love.
Yes. Oh, don't you remember that word?
Stirs a vague memory or so.
You're so bitter. You're so cynical. I'd die without love.
Well, in that case, allow me to help keep you alive. A soft hand. Not a callus, not a scar. Not a sign of honest labor.
Why don't we talk about you?
No, I've got my curiosity aroused about you. Where does a smooth hand like this come from? Is this the hand that smooths a child's brow, that wipes away the fever? This hand was used to money, too.
It's not my fault that my father was wealthy.
And loveless.
That's not true at all.
Then where did all this love come from in you?
Well, I've always been this way.
Why just when other girls of your means and your beauty are getting husbands, beginning homes? What impels you to go off among the Sioux and be an Indian missionary?
I've already explained that. I want to help people.
Even at the sacrifice of a home and of children? And of those pleasant evenings in front of a warm fire with your head on your husband's knee?
I don't mind sacrifice.
Or maybe it isn't a sacrifice. Maybe you're giving up something you never wanted in the first place.
I think maybe I'd better go now.
Why, running out of faith?
That's got nothing to do with it.
You're so full of words and trite phrases. Why would a woman like you come down here in the first place, dressed as you are?
You completely misunderstood me.
No, I don't think I've misunderstood you. You've got to say your little speech to salve your conscience, but underneath you're smoldering just like I am.
No, let me go.
All right, Joan of Arc. Let's test your faith.
No.
Let's see how you react under fire.
No, let me go!
Whoa! What's the matter?
Frank,
Where you been?
I went down to see if I could find something to cover the prisoner.
You do that, ma'am?
Oh, no, I caught my robe on a nail and it ripped. I didn't see it, it was dark.
All right, you get back to your cabin. You're going to catch yourself a whopper of a cold if you don't.
That's right.
Good night. Take off those wet clothes, you hear?
Yes, sir, Mr. Fraser.
Boiler deck. Connie, slow your engines down about half speed. The water's full of debris.
Aye, sir. Half speed. It's still storming, Mr. Fraser.
No, she's lit up.
It's a good thing, too.
Connie, cut your engine! Cut your engine! Something just ran into us.
You ain't telling me nothing. It's got us back here on the starboard side. The boiler room is filling up.
Well, plug it up!
Don't stand there watching that hole till the boat fills up. Move! What are you gonna do when it's full? Get out of here! Get along, Pinky. You bust that thing around. Now, boy, come on, get in here.
Travis, take the wheel. We got a hole in the larboard side of the engine. Is it bad? I don't know yet.
Right! Pinky, come right! Get out of the way! Get out!
Forget that painting, Mac. Get a couple of men down the engine room right now.
Mr. Fraser, can I see you for a moment?
I'll have to see you later, Mr. Crane.
It's important. Lucy's sick.
Lucy, what's wrong?
She has a horrible fever. She can hardly breathe.
Boiler check!
Connie, you got that damage under control yet?
Aye, sir. She may hold to Donnelly's Landing, but not much farther than that.
I'm no doctor, Mr. Crane, but I'll sure give her a look. I reckon I don't have to be a doctor to know what that is. It's choking fever. Mr. Crane. I sure could be wrong, sir, but you know how much of that was on the river last year. I saw all of it myself. We'll be in Donnelly's Landing in about an hour. I'll get you a doctor. You better stay in your cabin. Mr. Carney, give us just enough steam to hold us even with the dock. Try to keep her about 50 feet out. Then we'll anchor. Guys. Drop the anchor. Come on, Ben, dock that scow. I got a good special on lard today, $5 a barrel. Why, that's a good price, but look, Kincaid, I need a doctor. I got a sick child on board. We haven't got a doctor here. Where's the nearest one? Old Doc Peabody over at Bennett. What kind of sickness you got aboard? Well, Kincaid, you better get your sheriff. Well, I'm the law here. What can I do for you? I want to tie up long enough to put a little girl in the wagon to take her to Bennett, to the doctor. Sounds like you got catching sickness aboard. Is that right? Nobody has to get near us. All we want's a wagon and wood for the Enterprise. You know the law. I wouldn't be sitting out here, Kincaid, if I didn't. None of you will come ashore here. But at least let us tie up long enough to get wood to go to the next town. That'd be the same thing, Ben. The first one of you who tries to come ashore will be shot. Fraser, I'll dump your wood in the water. And if you can find a way to pick it up, put the money in the sack and throw it over. Wait a minute. Look, we got a problem. The only way to solve it is get that wood on board and get downriver to the next town. I want every fit and able man in the water to make a wood brigade. Now!
Fraser, you got no right to make decisions for this many people. We heard what you said about the sickness. It's on this here boat, me and the rest of these people are getting off.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute, you heard what Kincaid said?
You started it right from the beginning when you let that animal get on here. That's where it came from. That filthy criminal gave that child a catching stick.
We've been off through that before. The little girl never touched him.
You all saw it.
Tell Connie we're going to take some wood on board. You better rifle out the ready boat on the cargo deck.
If he's asking for help, let's break out the rifles.
Give him a hand. Are we gonna let that sick animal stay here? Oh! Let's go throw him over the side! All right, come on, give me a hand. No one's doing anything on it.
All right, everybody stand back and stay away from that prisoner.
You don't dare shoot us. We're passengers. Paying passengers, not cattle.
The prisoner's a paying passenger, too. As long as he's on the Enterprise, he's got the same rights as you. Anybody who tries to take him away, they're going to get hurt.
Listen to me. We must all work together as one. Be ye not afraid, the Lord is with thee. Do ye the Lord's work, and he will do unto you. He will lifteth thy oppression, and heal thy sick. Do unto him that which breaketh his commandments, and he will strike thee down with pestilence.
Yeah. No rifle balls.
All right, all you men in the water. Are you going in with all your clothes on? All right, Kincaid, start throwing those logs. What Fraser said about the little girl?
I heard.
Does that mean nothing to you?
I should imagine it means she has diphtheria.
Everybody on the boat's been breaking their back to get her to a doctor to save her life.
At the point of a gun.
I don't suppose threatening to whip you is going to do any good, will it?
Any good in what sense, Mr. Kester?
Now, hang it, don't play hide and hoot with me. You know what I'm talking about.
I haven't the faintest idea.
Now, listen to me, Drake. I know I can't make you help that little girl or anybody else on this boat. But if you got anything at all left in you, you're going to try.
Why?
Because you know how.
Mr. Kester, whether that little girl dies today or 100 years from today is purely academic. Sooner or later, she's going to die. And so will you and I, Mr. Kester. And all the sermons and all the good intentions and all the believing in God won't alter that one simple fact. So you're wrong, Mr. Kester. I can't keep her from dying. Nor do I intend to try.
You're just not human.
Just a little cold. You're going to be all right. Lay down. Going to give her some hot tea with a touch of brandy. Tomorrow she'll be playing with David. How is she? Have faith and pray.
I've been on my knees all day. Her breath rattles so loud in my ear. Everyone's got to be her last. I've searched my mind for the wrong that I must have committed. Surely that helpless child can't have committed so horrible a sin as to deserve this punishment.
She will be all right, Mr. Crane. You've got to believe that. God works in strange ways. He hasn't forsaken you.
I want to believe it. How soon do you think we can get to a town where there's a doctor?
First town big enough is Cork's Creek. I know there's a good doctor there, but it's at least 10 hours away. The river's against us on account of the rain.
10 hours.
Well, I guess we better go. Right now I have to see if I can get some steam out of that wet wood we just took on.
To have faith. I had none myself.
You, ma'am?
When I looked at that little girl, I knew in my heart she was slipping away from us. There is a reason and a justice for all of God's actions. They are beyond the understanding of man.
I don't know much about that, ma'am, but I reckon there's not much else to tell a man when he's losing his only child. Even if you don't believe it, you say it anyway. Have hope.
Mr. Fraser? I've been looking for you.
What do you want, Mr. Kester?
Well, I don't know if it'll do much good, but my prisoner was a doctor before he went to jail.
Drake?
I don't like him any more than you do. But I figured you ought to know, seeing how you have a sick child.
Oh, it's kind of hard to believe.
7 years. Long time. He's not much now.
He works in strange ways.
Ma'am?
I was thinking out loud.
I tried to talk him into looking at Lucy Crane, seeing what he could do for her. But he won't have no part of it.
Mr. Fraser, if I can talk him into seeing the little girl, would you let him?
I don't know, ma'am. It's hard for me to believe that a convict and a man as dirty as he is should be anywhere near a child.
St. John the Baptist was a convict. A little soap and water will clean the man's hands, and God will take care of what's inside of him.
Take more than the good Lord to do anything with him.
If you want to give it a try, ma'am.
Will you bring him to my cabin?
Well, I don't know about that.
It's all right, Fraser. I'll have a gun on him.
I want him in my cabin alone, Mr. Kester.
All right, Kester.
He doesn't frighten me. Come in. Would you please unlock those chains?
There you are.
Thank you. I won't be needing you anymore.
You want anything, ma'am, you just holler.
Thank you. Won't you sit down?
You going to read this whole Bible to me?
There's truth in there.
And the truth shall make you free after a reasonable time in hell. You've got a lot of guts being here alone with me after last night.
I'm not afraid of you.
I don't believe you.
Even if I were, you'd still be here.
Why?
Because there are some things that must be done, regardless of fear.
Oh? The Indians are going to like this. All right. Let's get on with it.
Why won't you see Lucy Crane?
Because I'm not a doctor. I'm a convict. Paul Drake, M.D., is dead. He died in a courtroom. At the hands of his friends.
Will you tell me about it? Please.
All right. It's as simple as this. The meanest, the evilest, and the richest man in our town fractured his skull. And all his friends and all my friends, in the name of doing justice, persuaded me not to open up his skull and relieve the pressure. I didn't. He died. There was a trial. And all his friends and all my friends swore that I'd refused their pleas to open up his skull and relieve the pressure. I got 8 years for criminal neglect, and they got the town. His friends and my friends, they carved it up between them. Now, save me.
I didn't present myself as your savior. But I'm sure you must have had a reason for your actions.
I wanted him dead. That's the sin of intent. It's a very mortal sin. Very difficult to erase from the book.
Well, a lot of people think wrongly in anger.
I was not angry.
It doesn't mean that you're condemned forever. Your life's not finished. You must have had a reason for being a doctor in the first place. Doesn't that mean anything to you? Is that gone?
Completely.
I don't believe you.
As a doctor, I would say that the doctor has been completely amputated from the body of Paul Drake. See? No doctor. Not anywhere. Just sin.
There is one sin you've committed that's worse than all the others, and you're still committing it.
Surely not worse than mortal.
You've murdered your own honor as a doctor. Give place to the physician, for the Lord hath created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him.
I doubt if he was referring to anyone like me.
How can you be so callous, so cynical,
So wicked? Job said, God has given the earth into the hands of the wicked.
But he also said, when they cast thee down, thou shalt say, there is lifting up. He will deliver even him that is not innocent.
Also he said, I shall say unto God, do not condemn me. Physician, heal thyself. Oh, no, don't give me the words. I know them better than you do. Faith has nothing to do with a few quotes from the Bible. Do you have faith?
Yes.
You're a liar. You've got the faith of a rabbit.
You're wrong.
Without this Bible, you're helpless.
You're wrong.
Without your precious platitudes, you're naked.
You're wrong.
Your faith is a kind of pious mask you put on so that people will say, oh, look, isn't she good? Isn't she noble? Isn't she pure?
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Faith is believing in a man, not in a moral. Do you have faith?
Yes.
In all mankind? Or is it possible that you actually have faith in me? How much? First night I knew whether I lived or died would depend on you. That's why I let them bring me up here. I had to know if your kind of faith, your kind of strength was really possible. And if it were possible, then it might be possible for me to have something to have faith in again. If you can have faith in this filthy thing before you, faith enough to kiss these lips, and I can have faith enough again to be a doctor. Faith enough to somehow make up for the life of that man I could have saved. I want a chance to clean up. Oh, look. I don't know that I can do anything for that girl. In cases of diphtheria, there's usually nothing you can do.
But you will have tried.
Yes. What's your name?
Kathy Norris.
Well, I guess it's just about as plain as the nose on your face. Right. I heard that criminal and God talking about doing something to the little girl. Oh, no. Talking like he was a doctor. Oh, next thing you know, they come and get him. No. First he goes to the woman's cabin, then the Frazier's. Then I hear Frazier say he's going to operate on the little girl. Oh! Well, I guess it's pretty obvious. And I'm telling you, he's going to kill that little girl with his gun. What's he doing up here? Don't let him! Don't let him! him go.
All right, you're all going back to your cabins. Right now. Come on, move!
If she were a little older, a little stronger, I'd recommend waiting, getting her to a hospital before operating, but her color's changing fast. The fight to breathe is robbing her of her strength.
Can you do anything?
I can perform a tracheotomy. That means opening the windpipe just below the swelling in her throat. Her chances would be, I'd say, 1 in 50.
Go ahead, Paul. They trust you.
I'll need some white silk thread, some strong needles we can bend, towels, 4 or 5 lanterns, and a good straight razor.
Right.
Oh, and Captain, I wonder if you'd bring along some of your strongest whiskey.
Sure.
Well, Fraser? Mr. Fraser, we're waiting.
I believe out of respect to the Cranes, we should all go back to our cabins.
Give us the prisoner, Mr. Fraser. We promised ourselves Drake could pay if anything happened.
What right have you to sit in judgment?
If you were a shepherd, some animal killed your sheep, you'd sit in judgment.
Animal. Dr. Drake never knew the Cranes before, but he tried to help them. And you don't know him, but you want to kill him. You're the animal. The killer of your own flock. The most despicable kind of man. Ready to destroy just to nourish your own sick soul.
Mr. Burley, there's only one man here who might condemn Dr. Drake. His kind of gentleness is rare.
I only wish that he could be the one to always be around when we needed him. I can't condemn him, no matter how hard I want to blame someone. You see, I watched him fight death all night. If I can't say he's wrong, how can you?
Mr. Burley, the chains I was wearing have been removed. I hope yours can be too.
Speaking about chains, Drake, I must have misplaced yours. Anyway, I can't find them. It may take me some time. Maybe not till after we stopped at Corrick's Creek.
Just say the word and I'll know you're in the bank right now.
No, Mr. Fraser. If you can't stay on course, how can I?
You're right, Doctor. I'll try to fix it so you only have about a couple of more months.
Hiya, Gray. Ben! Hey, where you been? You're 2 weeks late. You got any trouble?
Well, we've been in quarantine.
You look very nice in my new pleated shirt.
Well, thanks a lot.
What do you mean, quarantine?
Well, I can't talk about it now, Gray. We got to go to the wedding, right?
Wedding?
Yeah, the convict and the missionary.
What do you mean?
Oh, I can't talk about it now, Gray. I'm the best man, you know. I can't be
just
late.
wait a minute. I want to talk to you now.
Gray, you've been invited too. Don't you want to go?
Now, wait a minute. Now, look, you mean to tell me that I brushed all the way back from a wedding in Connecticut, waited here for you 2 weeks, just to go to another wedding so I can talk to you?
Something like that, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, well, now, wait a minute. I better go and change my shirt then. Welcome back, Travis. Well, I guess I don't have a second shirt to change into.
Well, that's right, sir. There's only one left to choose from.
Well, next time perhaps I'd better buy a greater variety. But I'm glad to think that you like my taste.
Oh, yes, sir. It is a little big in the collar.
Oh, yes. Oh, I see. Well, I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Travis. Perhaps I'd better lose some weight, too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.